Hello, Internet. Today, I want to teach you how to fly like a god. I'm a relatively new player to Rocket League. I haven't been playing for very long, just about 3 years. But I have a big advantage, and that is that I come from playing flight simulators. So when I first picked up this game, I grabbed the controller, I started playing with it, and immediately realized that the controls are totally fucked. So I changed them really quickly. That was 3 years ago, and I've been using a different control scheme since then to my advantage, big advantage here. And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about changing your binds to add a bunch of control, and then what you can do to practice after that and fly like a god. So, just really quickly, Rocket League is a flight simulator. You're flying around a shitty little jet, trying to smash balls with your face and knock them somewhere. Knock them to your teammate, knock them into a hole, whatever. It's a basic flight simulator. Now, any flight simulator is going to have 3 axes of motion. You're going to have your yaw here for doing spin moves or doing turns. You're going to have roll for doing rolls. And then you're going to have your pitch for doing front flip, back flip. So 3 axes of motion. Now, the thing that Rocket League suffers from is that in the default binds, they have put all of these controls on a single thumbstick and then given you a toggle air roll button to be able to control between one or the other. Now, this is a huge problem, right? You've got 3 axes of motion, and you're only allowed to use 2 at any given time. So if you want to do just something like this, just line up an air dribble, do some very fine, small movements, at every single moment in that air dribble, you're going to be forced to choose, do I want to roll here, or do I want to yaw here? Even worse, one of the most common things for me is to roll in the opposite direction of a yaw. So roll right, yaw left, something like this, to get some added control. You do this kind of thing all the time, and if you're doing that with an air roll button, then you're going to be like twitching your thumb around and toggling the air roll. It's just a total unnecessary, difficult brain fuck that's making everybody fly like a goddamn bag of potatoes. So the thing that I bring to Rocket League is fixing your binds. That's all I got. I'm a giant diamond potato after 3 years of gameplay, but I can fly pretty good. So you're going to want to change your binds. What you want to do is you want to delete your air roll button entirely. Toggle air roll is an abomination. It's a mistake that needs to be burned with fire. It's making everybody play this game with one hand tied behind their back. They're only playing with one thumb when you got 2. It's a big old mistake. So delete toggle air roll, move air roll to right thumb. Simple as that, voila, you now have perfect control of your soccer car at all times. You can roll in the opposite direction of your yaw without a problem. You can do whatever you want to do for literally everything you do in this game. All movements, speed flips, aerials, air dribbles, whatever you want to do is going to be so much easier if you're playing this game like a flight simulator with 2 thumbs instead of trying to do it all with 1 thumb and an air roll button. Now, I know a lot of people out there, a lot of pros in particular, have gone ahead and they've moved the air roll button to their bumpers. They'll do something like throw air roll left on a left bumper, throw air roll right on a right bumper. That's an okay compromise. That does give you the ability to move all 3 axes of motion at once. But let's say you want to do like some very fine control in an air dribble. You want to yaw just a little bit to the left while you roll just a little bit to the right. You're still fucked. You can't do that stuff. And just watching pros play, they're so much better than me. They're so fucking good at this game, and I can just see awkwardness in all of their movement, just little uncomfortableness where they literally just can't control themselves because their binds are messed up. So, change your binds. I've included a list of the binds down below in the, what is it? I don't know. I don't know what YouTube is, but there's a section where I can include my binds. So, there it is. Go ahead and just copy my binds if you want to. It's pretty simple. Basically, delete your air roll button entirely. Use your triggers for forward, backward. Use your bumpers for jump and boost. Use your thumbs for air roll, pitch, yaw. And then I would highly, highly, highly recommend buying a controller with back buttons so that you can keep your thumbs on the thumbsticks at all times, use all of your inputs without ever having to touch A, X, B, Y. If you can't do that, I understand they're expensive, then maybe put like, put power slide on like your A key so that you can still do some wave dashes, but you want to avoid AXBY if you can. Additionally, with this, you're going to need to delete the free look camera control, which is one big loss of this. You can't use the right stick to free look around. Now, I've still got the ability to do backwards. This is my pinky. I've also got the ability to do ball cam. So just spamming ball cam and spamming backwards can give you some visibility, but you are going to have some blindness. Now, talking about controllers too, let me give you a controller recommendation. I have gone through so many fucking controllers. It is absolutely amazing. Let me look at the list really quickly. It's amazing how incompetent all of the controller manufacturers are. Every single Xbox controller that I've encountered, whether it's $100 or default or whatever, they're all designed with a big flimsy bumper that's one big piece of plastic that bends every time you click it. So if you're using that for boost and jump and you're clicking it thousands of times a day, then it just inevitably breaks, and your controller breaks and your jump key doesn't work anymore. So that's kind of been the bane of my existence. I've had that exact issue with the bumpers on the Elite Series 1. I've gone through 2 Elite Series 1s. I've gone through 3 Elite Series 2s. I've gone through like all of the scuff controllers. I've done the Razer Wolverine, Thrustmaster eSwap Pro. All of them just broke down after some use. And maybe I've got the strongest, most manly hands in the universe, but I think it's just shit manufacturing. People don't know how to make a button. It's kind of wild. Anyway, end of that rant. The only controller I've been able to find that's worked well for me has been this guy. This is the, what is this? Evil Custom PS4 Controller with back paddles. It's going to run you like $100 or so. They're kind of spendy, but this has been the best controller that I've had so far. Clearly the bumpers are a little more solid. I haven't had issues with them as much. The back buttons are extremely comfortable as well. You need to be able to use those 4 back buttons perfectly comfortably. So I would highly recommend picking up this controller if you're going to do this. And if you are changing your binds and you're on an Xbox controller, just be aware that your controller is going to break in a couple months. Microsoft is the worst company I've encountered in my entire life, not an exaggeration. And they do not know how to make a controller. So if you're using any Xbox controller, regardless of if it's Microsoft or if it's some custom scuff controller or whatever, expect it to break down. I would recommend sticking with PS4 controllers or this model in particular, the Evil Custom PS4 controller. But anyway, if you do that, if you change your binds and get a custom controller, then that's going to put you in a much better spot. You'll have perfect control at all times. You'll be able to fly through ring maps super easily. You'll be able to do aerials much better. Just everything that you do is going to have so much better, so much more fine control. And I would absolutely love to see what some of the pro players out there could play like if they changed their binds to be able to use 2 thumbs and have perfect control. Now, a couple more things to mention. One, if any Psyonix employees ever see this, it would be fucking fantastic if you could do 3 things for me. 1, allow consoles to use this bind set. I don't know why, but consoles have different settings where they literally just can't set up this bind. You can't use your right thumb for roll. You can't wipe the camera controls. You end up like looking around while you're trying to control, and that's not okay. So one thing, let consoles use this bind set. 2, it would be great if there was a transparency slider on the ball. Losing the right thumb for camera control means that if I'm dribbling the ball and I've got the ball on my head like a hat, I can't read what's going on the other side frequently. It'll just completely block out the defender, and I don't know what's going on. If I could have like 95% visibility here, if I could see through the ball by like 2%, then I'd be able to read the play and do something, so that would be nice. And I think the third thing that's most important that I would like is the ability to use a button plus the right thumb to free look. I want a toggle free look button, not a toggle air roll button. That's a mistake. Toggle free look. I've got one unused back button. I could hold that button and then use the right thumb to look around so that I could control a dribble. Control a dribble, read a defender, make a play. That would be really nice. So a couple things that you're missing there with this bind set that would be nice to add. All right, all that out of the way, let's talk about how you can get good at flying. That's pretty easy to pick up, actually. It's not bad. I would recommend get some of the workshop maps. Get like the ring maps, or get there's just like obstacle course maps. But find some map that you can fly around in, and then just do some practice every day. Do like 20 minutes of practice every day with a podcast or Netflix. Give it just like background attention. Don't really pay attention. Focus on something else because it's kind of frustrating at first, and then just kind of hang out and grind the skill out. Within a couple days or a couple weeks, you're going to notice some big improvements. But the way that I would get started is I would just fly straight, get comfortable with flying in a straight line, just trying to get through the obstacle course. If you're feeling comfortable with that, start flying backwards, fly upside down through the obstacle course, then sideways to the left, sideways to the right. And once you're comfortable with that, start working on the air roll. For air roll, I would recommend start with like air roll right and yaw left. Do not yaw right, only yaw left, and only air roll right. And just do this until you're comfortable with that. At a certain point, you'll get comfortable with doing this roll where you've kind of got your back pulling up. I don't know how to explain it, but it'll click in your brain, right? So get comfortable with this. Once you're comfortable with roll right, yaw left, flip it. Roll left, yaw right. It's going to take a while, but it's going to click in the same way. You'll realize that this is the same thing that you've been doing, just inverted. So it'll click in your brain pretty quickly. Once you can roll both directions with the yaw in the opposite direction, then switch it up so that your yaw matches your roll. Start a roll left, yaw left. And this is my biggest weakness right now. This is what I'm working on. But roll left, yaw left. Roll right, yaw right. And if you can get all of those main directions down, then at that point you can just start going wild and holding boost and doing whatever the fuck you want. You can start doing some full boost tornado spins and cruise around and just go wild. You're basically, by doing it that way, one step at a time, you're going to remove all of the blackout stages. And you'll be able to just know where you are and how to get out of it at any given time. You'll get really, really good control. So that's my recommendation. That's my short little spiel. That's the one thing that I've got to bring to Rocket League, is that all your binds are fucked and you're flying like potatoes. Play this game with 2 thumbs, and you're going to do a whole lot better. It's going to add so much control, and it's going to affect everything you do. Lining up aerials, lining up flip resets, just even doing like wave dashes and whatnot. Everything you do, you're going to have perfect control and simpler binds where you don't have to think about using an air roll button. So that's it. I hope that's helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck out there. Leave some feedback. I'd love to know how you guys like this. If you give it a shot, let me know if it's working for you or if you're having trouble. Thank you for watching. Good luck.